This dog is crazy. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at one of my newest permanent purchases, and that is the Rokinon 12mm lens. This lens has got a fairly classic look to it with the aperture and focus dials there. This is a fully manual lens. I got this lens to replace the Rokinon 11 to 16mm f2.8. I recently switched from the Nikon DSLR system I had, a Nikon D7100, and now I've moved to the A6500. This is a very small lens on this camera. It adds almost no more size than the standard kit lens does, especially when the kit lens at full extension. Today we're going to be comparing this lens to a variety of other lenses over here. We have got the kit lens here, the 16 to 50. We have got the 18 to 105 f4, and to join in on the ultra wide angle end of things, we've got a GoPro Hero 4 Black. So here we have the 12mm f2 on the body of the camera here. As you can see, it's very small. It's an incredibly compact lens for what it is. The Rokinon that it replaced was a really big lens, almost twice this length, and I'd say half again as big around. There we go. So this is what it looks like in hand, and I'm going to show you what the kit lens looks like for comparison in size. And here we have the kit lens when it's powered on and zoomed out. When you turn this camera off with the kit lens, however, it does retract back in. So we've got the 12mm on right now, and we are across the street closer to our test trees, and we're going to shoot with this lens first and go through a couple different apertures, and then we're going to shoot with the 16 to 50, the 18 to 105, as well as the GoPro, to compare focal lengths on all of them and image quality on the kit lens alone. This is a manual focus only lens, as well as a manual aperture lens. So if you're worried about trying to hit focus, fear not, for Sony has come to the rescue with a brilliant feature. As I rotate the focus here, you can see as things come into focus, they highlight red. This feature is called focus peaking, and as it gets into focus, it lights up so you can hit focus real fast without any issue at all. So we're in focus, f2. Okay, here's a quick little feature here that you may not know that exists on the A6500. Is that with the touchscreen on the back, when you're manual focusing, you can double tap and it will zoom in for you. You can double tap again and it'll take you out. If you double tap, you can see your little box moving around down here, and if you click once on the center selector, it'll take you into 11.7 times zoom, so you can really make sure that you nail the focus. Alright, there's one. We're going to go to f. 3.5 is in between 4 and 2.8, so we're going to shoot one there. We're going to shoot one at 4. Now we'll go straight to 5.6. And then we'll go to f8, and that's where we'll stop. Now we're going to jump over to the kit lens. So we're wide open at 16mm. Autofocus is on. Let's go to f5.6, and then we'll go to f8. Now we're going to jump over to the 18 to 105. We're going to shoot this one where it performs the best, just to get a sharpness comparison, and we're zoomed all the way out to 18mm. Now, last but not least, We'll do a few just for comparison. Alright, so we've got the green is the 12mm, the green here, these 6 images, and these 6 images. The red is the 16-50, the blue is the GoPro, and the yellow is the 18-105. First off, we're going to do a quick focal length comparison. I'm going to compare these side by side real quick, and then I'm going to show them individually on the screen for you guys. Here we've got the 12mm, and here we've got the 16mm. Now for the 16mm is now the 18mm, which now there's a pretty significant difference there. And then the GoPro is crazy wide. Now, if you guys couldn't really see that well, I've shown it here in Photoshop. As you can see, we've got the 12mm, which is the image here. The 16mm lands in the red. So there's 12 all the way up to 16. And then 16 to 18 is the yellow. So the 18mm fills in the yellow, the 16mm fills in the red, the 12mm fills in the whole picture. Now the GoPro, I've superimposed behind it to show you how wide that is. So that's about how the GoPro lands. I know the alignment isn't perfect, but it's pretty close. This tree kind of, I didn't auto align anything. Photoshop wouldn't cooperate with me, so I just did it kind of manually there. So now let's do a image quality comparison. This is at f3.5 and this is at f2. Let's zoom in on them and see what kind of quality we're getting comparing the two together. As you can see right off the bat, the f2, this is f2, as wide as it goes, absolutely blows the socks off of the kit lens there. It's got better contrast, it's got better detail, it's remarkable in the sharpness department. Like, unbelievably heads and shoulders above this kit lens. Let's go over to the corner here and see what kind of issues we've got. As you can see, we've got chromatic aberrations. Those are here for almost every aperture that I've tried. But it does get a little bit better as you stop it down, but they're still very sharp. Let's jump down to f2. What did I do? Did I do 2.8 or 3.5? Whatever I did next, that's what we're looking at next. So this is f5.6, I believe. Yeah, f5.6. That's another bummer about this lens, is that it doesn't give you any information about what it was shot at. The aperture and the focal length just stay blank. But that's what you get with manual lenses like that. When this is stopped down at f5.6, it's a lot closer to this, which is still at 3.5. So this is a lot closer in the middle, but you've got 2 extra stops of light in this one here. We can take a look at the so this one was taken at 1/50th of a second. This one was taken at 1/500th of a second. It just gives you an idea of how much more light this wide angle lens is letting in. That's something that you need to know about this lens, is that there's kind of a line right here and right here, that anything past it really falls apart hard. However, anything further in the frame looks pretty good. As you can see, I mean, the leaves, there's more contrast, there's a little bit more detail. But once you hit, you see how there's kind of a line right here where it just gets super hazy? It's just one of the things. Let's go ahead and jump into f8. And this one over here, let's change that to f8. The 12mm has got more detail than the 16 does at f8. You could probably crop in the 12mm and get a similar quality image out of the cropped. Just look at the detail in the grass relative between the two. This is a very good lens. I think that this lens actually competes with the 12mm f2.8 Zeiss lens. I found a few reviews about that online, and this one was on its heels. And for a third of the price, or half the price, something about the price is that the silver version is about $50 less than the black version, so that doesn't make any sense. As you see, these chromatic aberrations are still apparent here, even all the way up to f8. So, but the sharpness is significantly improved in the corner here. It's still smeary out here, but it's a lot sharper. Let's. This is the 18mm at f5.6, and this is the 12mm at f5.6. This one's going to give you more detail because it's more zoomed in, but this one is still right on its heels. Actually, I think it looks better up into the top here, but we saw that this lens kind of struggled in this area in one of my previous reviews. Okay, one thing that I think this lens does phenomenally is close focus. This isn't typically something that wide-angle lenses are very good with, but I'm just going to show you what kind of images you can get with this thing. Okay, we're going to shoot a few here so you get an idea of how this thing does up close as far as details go. We did one at f2, that was f2.8. We can do one at f5.6. Okay, we've got kind of this neat little bush here. There's the camera for scale. Show you just how close minimum focus is on this. So it's cranked all the way back to as close as it'll get. And let me turn this down to f2. As you can see, as soon as the red starts showing up, we're starting to get into focus there. And that's how close it is to the flower there. So this has got a very, very close minimum focus distance for a wide-angle lens. I'm going to shoot a couple of these just to let you see how it turns out. Alright, here's a little bit of selfie video while I get my stuff packed up and moved back inside. This gives you an idea of the perspective you get from about arm's length. It's a fairly relaxed arm. This is opened all the way to f2, so there might be some separation even with an angle this wide. I forgot to do the GoPro tests. Oh, no, I didn't. We're good. This is also going to give you an idea of how the in-body stabilization works with this lens on this camera. Okay, now for some of the close focus stuff. This is the kind of image quality that you can expect out of this lens up close. Now, keep in mind when I'm zooming in on these that this is a 1-to-1 zoom in. And what looks like motion blur, I believe, is just it beginning to go out of focus. Because this lens focus is so close that the depth of field is actually very small. So by the time you get into your focus spot, it's very quickly exiting out of it. So you'll end up with a little bit kind of odd looking images as far as the focus goes when you're all the way wide open at f2, but look at how clear the background is. Now we've got f2.8 and then f5.6, and at f5.6 it is extremely sharp. Now we'll go to this here. This is f2. As you can see, we're focused right here. And look at how blurry that is by the time it got to the ground. And you saw that that plant was only about 1.5 feet tall. And we've got f4 and f5.6. And at f5.6, there's a little bit of real motion blur there, but it's a very clear picture. Let me see if f4 was, yeah, here we go. Nice and sharp. It's a very clear picture considering the price that you're paying and just the interest that that focal length at that minimum focus gives you. I'm going to show you a few other images that I've taken with this lens. I'll be putting them on the screen right now, but these I took a couple days ago back when it wasn't raining when I first got the lens. And as you can see, some of the details and the perspective you get on some of this stuff is very interesting, and it really makes for some cool pictures. This lens will set you back, the silver version anyways, will set you back about $330. The black version you'll get closer to about $400. But if you're going for a Zeiss alternative, or even the 10 to 18, you're going to be spending a lot closer to $1,000. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Check out some of my other videos if you want to see how different lenses compare back with the kit lens. That's kind of the baseline that I've been going off of, because pretty much everybody who's got one of these cameras has got the kit lens. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.